Welcome back to CryptoWealthy channel, guys. In this episode we're going to discuss about the Bitcoin and the DogeCoin, because DogeCoin may actually bottom out. Me personally, I never bought the DogeCoin ever in my life, but maybe I actually will, because of these technicals that are showing onto the screen, and I'm about to show you why the DogeCoin may be very bullish right now. So the first thing I want to mention over here is the Bitcoin. Let's go through the Bitcoin very quickly, because on the weekly chart you can see that we closed this candle unfortunately below 200 simple moving average, and also in between this very important area over here. So this is weekly chart, you need to understand. I told you in one of the videos 7 days ago, I think, that if we close below this moving average over here, we would need to regain our strength above it as quickly as humanly possible, because if we don't and we start continuing to trade below this moving average, we are going to experience some not so great things when it comes to the price, because Bitcoin never has done this before. As you can see, the only time we were below over here 20 simple moving average was into the March 2020, so 2 years ago, and you can see that we regained this moving average, and the whole bull trend above was in pretty much few days. And as you can see right now, we actually are not doing that. This is the second week we are below this moving average, but again, we still have a time. I do believe this or even next week, if we reclaim this moving average, so if we get above this moving average, we may see much bullish scenario for the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space in general. So that's very important to mention over here when it comes to the Bitcoin and markets, because it's Monday, and as you can see, the previous candle over here closed below, so it's very important to mention it. Also, if we get to the monthly chart, we still have 3 more days, 3.5 days to close this candle, and it would be very nice to close above 50 monthly moving average, and that would be some solid bullish scenario, because then we would maybe just establish the bottom over here. But let's see if weekly 200 simple moving average can hold us above, and then from them we may see actually, or let's say confirm, the bottom formation. The daily chart doesn't look so bad also, because price is still consolidate around this area of cluster of candles and below 20 moving average, which is also giving us a little bit strength to get more to the upside before we retest and see what's going to happen over here. What I mean by that is, when the Bitcoin hits the 200 as it did over here and many times before, we're going to know if we're going to continue to the downside or to the upside. Very possible to establish that, because you will see if the price is going to stand there, consolidate a little bit, maybe decline, make another lower high. Well, that is not good signal, because as you can see over here, this is lower high over here. We were chopping this moving average and then we crashed to the downside. So maybe the similar thing we're going to see right now, because many times before, usually when the price declines from this moving average, usually that's the bear trend, and as you can see, we're below it, and as long as we are staying below this moving average, we are going to be in the bear trend. Remember that. So however, we are approaching to a moment where, when are we gonna retest this, and we're gonna see if that's gonna happen. Now, if we break this over here, orange one, we may actually at the same time break 200 simple moving average. So that's also something to pay attention to. Now, when it comes to the Dogecoin, it does have very interesting pattern over here, and we need to mention it because Dogecoin may actually bottom out. We have some other variables to include into this, but let's dive into the chart first. So what you can see, the important thing for the Dogecoin is the Elliott theory, because on the monthly chart we played out one wave. So this is monthly structure, years and years needed to actually play out this, and you can see into this scenario over here, also ABC correction we played out, and we hit the 50 monthly moving average, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that the Dogecoin was below it just for a month or some weeks, and then it got above immediately, and after that it started the new wave to the upside from 1 to 5 over here, and right now we are playing out ABC correction. Now the question is probably that you're going to ask, is this ABC, or let's say the C correction over here done? So that's the question that we need to ask over here. The important thing is that we found our pattern for the Dogecoin, where it was and where is it going. So right now we need to establish if we actually finished ABC correction like we did over here on this chart. So what you want to do is you want to go, actually let's just mention the 50 simple moving average, because we retested simple moving average right now into this month over here, and you can see we retested also in this area as well, which also indicated the bottom with this candle with a long wick. This was pretty much good volatility because this is monthly chart. If you go to the daily, this was something like this, right? So after that, Dogecoin got one engulfing pattern over here and never looked back after that. So what you want to see over here is the similar pattern forming right now, because I think this pattern is even more powerful because this is the bottom formation hammer. Usually these hammers are single candlestick patterns for the reversal patterns, you know. So in the next 3 days we want to see Dogecoin going to the upside as much as possible, or even stay as it is right now, because that would confirm that pattern. The reason why that pattern matters is because it's on the monthly chart. It hit the simple moving average, and on the simple moving average as a support got us a signal for the reversal, which is reversal pattern on the monthly chart, which is called hammer, and you don't want to ignore such a patterns. Now the important thing is to go to the weekly chart. We have more interesting signals there. On the weekly chart you can see that the 200 weekly average simple movement, so this is the slow one, you can see that the Dogecoin in this week managed to close, or let's say the previous yesterday managed to close above this simple moving average, you can see, and the next candle was bullish as well. However, 220 crossed with the 100. You can also call this as some sort of a golden cross, which is also giving you signal that the Dogecoin is doing something. You can see that those mixing, or let's say crossing to each other, those simple moving averages are doing something, and that means that the Dogecoin may actually starting new bull trend. This is way too early signal, and it could be wrong, but so far it does look very promising. The next thing you want to watch is breaking 20, but before we come to the 20, we have more stuff to discuss about over here in order to be as sure as possible what's happening. One thing you want to take into the narrative, so you wanna watch this as a big picture, because it's important to see why Dogecoin wants to actually put the bottom over here. Let's take the Fibonacci level, and you can actually measure the previous pump, and you can see that the fourth wave, so this is the fourth wave, as you can see, bottomed on 0.618. Okay, so retracement from the third wave over here on the first that we had, first wave to the upside, you can see that we retraced all the way to 0.618, which usually is the case. Now, interestingly enough, if we do the same over here, all right, you can see that we retraced just on the 0.382. However, one very interesting thing happened, and that's that the fourth wave, you can see over here, this bottom formation on the ABC formation, you can see ABC formation happened, or let's say this week over here, happened to be onto the fourth wave. So usually ABC correction ends in the Elliott theory where in the area of fourth wave. If we go into the live version right now, what you can see onto the Dogecoin is that it did the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that the fourth wave is here, and you can see that the ABC correction ended exactly onto the fourth wave as it did over here. The reason why that's important is because that the support for the ABC correction is usually in the fourth wave, and the Dogecoin price is respecting that, and it seems like it's finding bottom for the second time already there. We're going to see if that's gonna play out. We need to see month of July actually starting to the upside and not to the downside. If that happens, the bottom may actually be in, and these would be the very early signals, and those reasons may be for buying opportunity for me. But let's not rush too much. We have a little bit more to discuss about in order to confirm such a claims over here that we are putting onto you. So the weekly chart does look very cool and very promising so far, but the next thing I would expect for the Dogecoin to do is to get above, at least the minimum it needs to do is to get above this area over here. This would be very important. The same at the same time 20 is at the current moment there as well. And after that, I would like to see Dogecoin re-establish support onto the current resistance, which was previous market structure for the Dogecoin over here. You can see it's clearly the market structure. The similar thing happened over here into this push over here. Let me just adjust this because when Dogecoin got below this market structure over here, usually you see the big push to the upside. And this is not only the Dogecoin, any asset usually when fails to hold very important level, or even some simple market structure, even on the monthly, even on the weekly, even on the daily, hourly chart, doesn't matter, when it starts dropping and then comes back and reclaims it, usually you're going to see very huge spike to the upside, as we did over here. So right now it seems like that we are going to do the same thing because of 200 simple moving average has been reclaimed by the Dogecoin. Bitcoin didn't manage to do that yet, but the Dogecoin, it seems like, is managing to do this very easily, and we are currently on 0.076 USD or whatever it is. So if Dogecoin manages to rally further to the upside, that would be very, very bullish signal for the Dogecoin that it is going to be into the another bull market very, very soon. Pullback was approximately 93%, ladies and gentlemen, and if we measure the previous one was approximately 93 also. So those are the very, very good signals and signs that the Dogecoin may actually bottom out, and that's the reason why I may actually buy the Dogecoin. Let's go to the daily chart. What I want to discuss about the daily chart is I want to see structure on the daily chart of the Elliott theory again, which means I would expect something like this, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then something like this. All right, the second wave on the daily chart over here most probably is going to see retracement, especially now when we are hitting the daily moving averages, simple moving averages, and you want to see retracement before you determine the next step. So you want to orient yourself with the help of Elliott theory, and it seems like currently we are into the first wave on the daily chart. So onto the daily chart, Dogecoin is into the first wave. We didn't see any meaningful retracement so far, but I do believe that the Dogecoin is going to do it very soon. Usually the second waves are disbeliefs, and the investors are saying, oh no, this is not good, you know, this crypto or this asset is going probably back again into the bear market or whatever. Usually that's the thought into the second waves, because the first waves are always very unsecure for the investors, and then they start to believe when you see the third wave approaching and hitting the first high over here that we have. So we're going to see the retracement, be sure of that, and we need to come into the second wave. The question is how big is going to be. Well, usually these retracements are to even 60%, which means if we start retrace from here, let's just assume that we're gonna retrace from here, doesn't mean we will. We may go up to 38, or we may go further to the 0.618, find some bottom, and then, you know, start the third wave to the upside. So that's something that you want to see into the Dogecoin, and that's something that I'm going to expect for the Dogecoin, you know, to retrace to those levels, and I'm going to start buying into the second wave after we're going to see also third wave. Now, in order to be sure for these kind of claims, you want to see the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is dragging the Bitcoin, altcoins, everything, and you know, we could very easily be wrong. Even so, we have a lot of bullish signals that I just showed you. I didn't even start you know, looking for relative strength index, RSI, and everything. You can see that yeah, we don't have some bullish divergences at all, but you want to see S&P 500 because S&P 500 is very important, and I'm about to explain you why. The first thing that happened over here is that the S&P 500 dropped so heavily to 3,600 points or US dollars or whatever. Now, important thing for this chart over here is that we are into the falling wedge formation, ladies and gentlemen. Falling wedge formations usually have the chances of approximately 60 to even 65% to 70 to break to the upside, while rising wedge formation usually are corrective ones and they are going to the downside. So in this case scenario, we should see S&P 500 break to the upside because this pattern over here is way too big. It's on the daily chart and it started to form since January this year. And also onto this chart, what you can see that we just saw on the DogeCoin is that we reclaimed this level of support. Usually, as I told you, let's repeat together, when some support or resistance breaks and then become reclaimed, usually you're going to see much bigger push to the upside, and that also could be the catalyst for, you know, further break out of this resistance. Definitely watch S&P 500. If S&P, just listen to me very carefully, if S&P 500 breaks this falling wedge formation to the upside, then you're going to see Bitcoin spike to the upside, and also the Dogecoin is going to get extra boost. So that's something that I would expect. I would expect a little bit more consolidation over here, which could also lead for the Dogecoin to correct to the second wave I told you. Then you're going to see S&P breaking the level of structure of this pennant, and then you're going to see further push into the altcoins, and most important for this video, Dogecoin price as well. So I think this is it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. These stuff are purely technical, and usually the fundamentals are lagging behind technicals, and I think many of you already learned that. I don't want to repeat myself, but you can see that we have a lot of bullish signals popping onto the Dogecoin. Bitcoin is not so bad as well, but the S&P is promising and the most important one, right? So let me know in the comment section down below, what are you buying? Are you buying at all? How do you feel about crypto markets right now? I want to thank each last one of you for watching our videos, and until the next update, happy trading and goodbye.